What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and it has been a long time. That's starting to become my opening to every single one of my videos. I have a good reason this time. See, I'm very stupid, and a little while back I had a filling put in for my tooth, and while I was under the numbing, I bit my tongue really hard, and for quite some time it was very difficult for me to eat, drink, and forget about talking. So I had to put the videos on the shelf for a little bit, which I'm kind of ticked off because I had some great ideas for Christmas. And as I'm filming this now, this is the day after Christmas, so this video is not going to really make sense, but hell, we're all movie lovers here, and this is a kind of movie that we can watch all year round. That movie, as you guessed by the title, because you clicked on it, that is none other than the 1990 classic directed by Christopher Columbus and coming from the amazing mind of John Hughes, Home Alone.
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the home, one boy would discover he'd been left all alone.
I made my family disappear. Yes! Get that little creep! Don't worry, Marv, I'll get him for you. You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
Now, I mean, guys, what's there to be said about this movie that hasn't been said already? This, in my opinion, is one of those very few perfect films out there. This was Christopher Columbus and John Hughes at, around the height of their powers, and they came together and they had this amazing vision and executed it so amazingly. Macaulay Culkin as Kevin McAllister in this movie plays the youngest in a family getting ready to go on a vacation over in France, but he really isn't about that. He's not really too high on his family right now, and one thing leads to another, and they forget him. They forget him on the trip, and he's home alone for this vacation. And as some kids would be scared and, crying and screaming, Kevin sees this as his own personal vacation, and hijinks ensues.
I made my family disappear.
Everything seems to be normal, and Kevin's living his wildest dreams out until the Wet Bandits come and try to case the joint. And the Wet Bandits are played by Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern in one of my favorite two villain performances of all time. Now, one thing about this movie, one of the many things that work about this film, is how tight the editing is. This movie wastes no time, and it sets up scenes perfectly. You see little things at the beginning of the movie that set themselves up so well that even if you've seen this movie a billion times, like me, you pick up on so much new things on so many different, watches.
Oh, no.
Like, for instance, I can't even tell you how many people, as I was watching videos on Home Alone preparing for this, that didn't even realize the cop in the beginning of the video was played by Joe Pesci. And there's things like that, and there's so many other smaller things too that you can kind of go through and recognize. I don't know how you wouldn't know that's Joe Pesci, though.
Having a reunion or something?
Oh, no, my husband's brother transferred to Paris last summer, and both of his kids
What
are still
the
going to school
fuck
here.
is
And
this
I guess he
piece
was so
of
excited.
shit?
He's giving us all this trip.
I don't know. This is a family. The McAllisters seem like a family that you know, that you grew up with, and they feel so lived in. The house is gorgeous, it's iconic, and it feels like that family has been there for so long, and their roots, excuse me, are so embedded in that house. Another amazing thing too, which really sticks out, especially as I've gotten older and I really can enjoy it more. John Williams' score through this movie is, you don't even have to take my word for it. Everyone knows how perfect every single project that John Williams is attached to, he nails it out of the park. And this score in particularly has just this magic to it. That's the best way to describe it. It feels like you are enchanted, like you are part of the hijinks, you're part of the family, and even at the same time you are wrapped up in a very warm blanket sitting next to the fireplace. The music also responds so well to the beats that are happening in the movie. I love, for instance, with Old Man Marley, every single time you see him, the intense kind of orchestral music that really starts to pipe up. And then also the really nice family moments have these beautiful sweeps and these beautiful kind of angelic sounds to them. That really leads into, as I've gotten older, the scene in the movie that I appreciate and has became my favorite is when Kevin, played by Macaulay Culkin, is away from his family and he's starting to get to the point where he is very sad that they're gone. He's really realizing the power of his family. And he goes to the church and he sees Old Man Marley. And at first he is very scared, based upon the crazy stories that his brother Buzz has told him. And he is very apprehensive at first. But Kevin kind of overcomes his fears and starts to talk to him and very much realizes that he's a normal guy and he is very similar to Kevin. Has these, fears about his family and certain things that, he thinks, but he finds a bond with this older man. And the scenery, the editing, and once again that score by John Williams just comes together and just creates this perfect element. Oh, I'm not the biggest crier when it comes to movies, but this always gets me choked up as I see it. And I think this is really the essence of that movie. And it really kind of pushes that idea of how important family really is.
Merry Christmas. May I sit down?
And that's something that's huge for me. I mean, Christmas is my favorite holiday because of family and because of how much I love seeing them, especially as I start to get older. This is so crazy. I'm doing a review of this movie, and to the right of me, I have this little gem. Stand by, please. Haha. Look at that. Look at that. Now, as you can tell by the sweater, this is going to lead perfectly into another one of my favorite parts in this movie. And let's talk about one of the greatest fake movies to ever exist within a movie. Angels with Filthy Souls is a masterpiece all in itself, to the point where I was convinced as a kid and even as a teenager, that this was a real movie, and I spent way too much time on the internet trying to find a copy so I could watch this movie and be just like Kevin.
Hey, I tell you what I'm gonna give you, Snakes. I'm gonna give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no-good keister off my property before I pump your guts full of lead.
All right, Johnny, I'm sorry. I'm going.
1, 2, 10. Keep the change, you filthy animal.
It has that perfect kind of feel to it that reminds you of an old gangster film from the 30s and 40s. I just love it. Sometimes I go on YouTube and just watch the clips from the first and second movie. Growing up, this movie was something that was a hallmark moment for me and my family. It's something that we looked forward to so much in watching. We had it on VHS, DVD. I remember watching it on TV, and the Christmas commercials that would kind of bookend between commercial breaks. It's something that I can't wait to pass on to my family one day. The most famous sequence of this movie is when the wet bandits are trying to invade Kevin's house. This 8-year-old boy turns his beautiful suburban Chicago home into a Saw sequel, and we lived for it, and it made us want to be Kevin McAllister as a kid. I felt like I had a special bond with Kevin growing up because I was the youngest in my family as well, and I felt like the stuff that he was doing, all the booby traps, the paint cans, the tar on the stairs, the micro machines and everyone slipping on it, the feathers from the pillows, or even when he's going to the grocery store and, you know, all the funny interactions he's having with the cashier. You just wanted to be this kid so bad. He was like the James Bond of kids, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but to this day, at the ripe old age of 26, I still want to be Kevin McAllister when I grow up. And before I sign off here, I have to talk about some of my favorite lines within this movie. Everyone in this movie has at least one great line. Be it Kevin, who has so many amazing lines.
I made my family disappear.
Uncle Frank, too. Once again, he steals the show of being that curmudgeon-y uncle, that cheapskate. Listen, I come from an Italian family. I'm not going to say I have an uncle like that, but I have a few uncles like that for sure.
He knows I ate sausage and olives and
Look what
onions
you did, you little jerk.
The Wet Bandits have some classic, iconic lines.
What are you laughing at? You did it again, didn't you? You left the water running, didn't you? What's wrong with you? Why do you do that? I told you not to do it.
Harry, it's our calling card.
Calling card.
All the great ones leave their mark. We're the Wet Bandits.
I would be here for hours and hours and hours talking about it. Guys, I cannot fit it all in one video. I also cannot fit in how much I love this movie. Guys, I could sit here for hours and hours talking about this movie and I still wouldn't get the point across. Like I said, this is an absolute perfect film. I'm not going to say if you haven't seen this movie to go see it, because I'm pretty sure everyone has seen this movie. It is like the Star Wars of Christmas movies. At one point or another, you've seen it for sure. Guys, let me know the first time you saw Home Alone. I know for me, I'm probably getting up to the hundreds, even closer to 1,000 times I've seen this film. Let me know your thoughts on the movie. Let me know how many times you saw it this year. Guys, I appreciate you watching. I'm sorry for the late upload. I hope everyone had a happy holiday. And until next time, I love you all, and I will see you later.